So this week, we're taking a look at a pen that I acquired back in 2018, sold for a different pen, and then decided that the color really was best for me, so I bought the larger version. In this box is the Sailor 1911 Large Stormy Seas with a hard medium nib. I know the box says that it's a broad nib, but it's not. Anyways, I know I've said it before here on the channel, but as far as boxes go, Sailor has the best subdued box look in the business. I mean, look at this navy blue with gold leaf stamp. And it makes for a really nice contrast when you open the box and are greeted with a nice gray interior that helps make the pen pop. Now, underneath the 1911 Large, below the pen bed, are the standard accoutrements that accompany your Sailor purchase. Ignoring that one of these plastic containers appears to be magically opened, these are the converter, when you haven't pre-installed it, the 2 Sailor cartridges, and the warranty/instruction leaflet. Now, looking at the pen itself, the first thing I like about the Stormy Seas is the metallic blue finish against the rhodium trim. It's one of those finishes that requires being seen in person, as the press photos, and even this video, may not fully get it across. But either way, it's a good combination. Also, take a look at this 21K nib. While I'm normally one to prefer Sailor two-tone nibs, this rhodium-plated nib is a solid companion for the blue, and, depending on the surroundings, can help add to the stormy look. I also find that this section is really nice for someone like myself with medium hands. Size-wise, let's take a look at the 1911 Large along with the 1911 Standard and a Pelican M600. Capped, we aren't seeing much of a difference, with the 1911 and M600 being about a quarter inch shorter than the 1911 Large, and the width of the Stormy Seas is just under a tenth of an inch larger in diameter against the similar-sized M600 and 1911 Standard. Uncapped, though, is a completely different story. The M600 is now on point with the length of the 1911 Large, while the 1911 Standard keeps the quarter-inch size difference. This does show, though, why I really do like the feel of Sailor pens. If you've seen my video on the M600, you know that I like the size of that section and the flare towards the nib. Looking at the 1911 Large, it does have a slightly longer section, but the flare out is just as well done and just as comfortable. Now for the writing sample, I'm using an ink that I just recently reviewed and I think makes for a good match with the Stormy Seas, and that would be Robert Oster Frankly Blue. Also, we're doing the writing sample in my Musubi notebook with Tomoe River paper. The first thing I'm noticing is that the nib is providing a nice line and good flow of ink onto the page. You can see that the ink started pretty dark and then settled into the medium tones, which it kept up for the remaining of the writing sample. That's a good property to have with drier inks. The feed isn't choking off, and I haven't had any burping issues. Now, when we look at the nib, I really wanted to test the feedback on Tomoe, and this is for a few reasons, but the main one is that I often find TR exposes flaws or personality quirks of a nib that I just won't find on other papers. In this case, I'm getting just a little bit of feedback. It's more of a pencil on paper type feel than it is a digging into the paper, but honestly, I find if a nib isn't going to be squeaky smooth, I find that I like this pencil on paper feeling as a close second, and this nib definitely has that going on. The one thing this nib can't do, and I'm not going to lose sleep over it, is write smoothly upside down. This is the only time that the nib digs into the page, and since I hardly flip my nibs over, it's a non-issue. The important thing is that this nib is smooth, flows well, and complements the pen, which it does. So how do I feel about the Sailor 1911 Large Stormy Seas? Well, let's go through the bullet points. This pen is well balanced. I find that if I don't have a piston filler, I do tend to prefer Sailor converters over other brands, especially Pilot, because those are horrible. This hard medium nib is smooth with just the right touch of feedback. The feed is consistent, and it works well with both wet and dry inks. I really do like this metallic blue finish, and I think the rhodium accents are a right touch for this pen. And literally the only reason I sold the first one is because I was going through a big pen kick at the time, and thought that the regular size 1911 was too small. Now that I'm not focused on that metric, I find both the 1911 and 1911 Large to be a good medium-sized pen. So overall, I'm going to give it an arbitrary number rating of 9 out of 10, which is the same rating I'm giving you for watching this video all the way to the end. Thank you for that. So that's going to do it for the Sailor 1911 Large Stormy Seas. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're one of the 73.2% that aren't. And if you want channel extras or want to support the channel, I have a Patreon link down in the show notes. Most importantly though, don't drink the ink.